Brock Lesnar just did something nobody saw coming at Royal Rumble 2026, and the entire wrestling world is shook. Stay with me. What's up, Suplex Rumble faithful? Welcome back to the channel where we break down the biggest moments, the wildest surprises, and the most jaw-dropping developments in professional wrestling. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell because you do not want to miss what we're covering today. Royal Rumble 2026 just went down, and while the main event delivered everything we expected and more, it's what happened after the cameras stopped rolling that has the entire wrestling community buzzing. We're talking about a moment so unexpected, so emotional, and so significant that it might have just changed the entire landscape of professional wrestling as we know it. Let's dive in. Before we get to the bombshell moment, we need to set the stage. Royal Rumble 2026 was absolutely stacked from top to bottom. The Rumble matches themselves were incredible. We saw shocking returns, brutal eliminations, and two deserving superstars punching their tickets to the main event at WrestleMania. But the Universal Championship match, the main event of the evening, was where all eyes were focused. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, defending his legacy against a hungry challenger who brought everything they had to the ring. Now, whether you love Roman or you're part of the group that's been waiting years for his reign to end, there's no denying what happened in that main event. Roman Reigns put on an absolute clinic. We're talking about a performance that reminded everyone, doubters and supporters alike, exactly why this man has been at the top of the mountain for so long. The storytelling, the psychology, the near falls that had the entire arena on their feet, the brutality, the resilience. This was Roman Reigns operating at the absolute highest level. And when that final bell rang, whether he walked out with the championship or not, one thing was crystal clear: Roman Reigns left everything in that ring. The crowd was electric. The atmosphere was absolutely deafening. And as Roman's music hit and he began to make his way up the ramp, exhausted, battered, and emotional, we all thought the night was over. But then, something happened that nobody predicted. The arena lights shifted. The crowd's roar turned into this confused, anticipatory buzz. And then, his music hit. Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, the conqueror, the man who has defined dominance in professional wrestling for over 2 decades. And he's making his way to the ring with Paul Heyman conspicuously absent from his side. Now, the history between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is the stuff of legend, right? We're talking about a rivalry that has spanned years. WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 34, SummerSlam encounters, crown jewel battles. These two have beaten the absolute hell out of each other in some of the most brutal matches in modern wrestling history. They've been enemies. They've been the alpha males unwilling to share the same territory. They've been the two unstoppable forces colliding again and again and again. So when Brock's music hit and he started walking to that ring, every single person in the arena and everyone watching around the world thought the same thing: here we go again. Brock's coming for Roman. Another chapter in their eternal war is about to be written. Roman, exhausted in the ring, immediately got to his feet. You could see it in his eyes. He was ready. Tired, hurting, but ready. Because when Brock Lesnar shows up, you don't get to rest. You fight or you get destroyed. Brock climbed into the ring, and the tension was suffocating. These two titans, face to face, the crowd absolutely losing their minds, phones out, flashbulbs going off like crazy. Security was hovering at ringside, ready to intervene. Commentary was speculating wildly. Social media was already exploding. And then, Brock Lesnar did something that might be the most shocking thing he's ever done in his entire career. He extended his hand. The arena erupted in confusion. Roman looked absolutely stunned. The camera caught this incredible moment where you could see Roman looking at Brock's hand like it might be a trap, like this might be some kind of setup for an F5. But Brock's expression was different. There was no smirk, no menace, no beast ready to strike. There was something we've almost never seen from Brock Lesnar: genuine respect. Now, Brock isn't known for cutting long promos. The man is a fighter, not a talker. That's why he had Paul Heyman for so many years. But on this night, Brock Lesnar had something to say, and he was going to say it himself. Reports from people in the arena say that Brock grabbed a microphone, and with Roman still cautious but listening, Brock delivered what might be the most important speech of his career. He talked about respect. He talked about legacy. He talked about how, for years, he and Roman had been trying to prove who was the alpha, who was the best, who was the one. And he acknowledged that their battles had been personal, had been brutal, and had pushed both of them to their absolute limits. But then, Brock said something that gave everyone chills. He told Roman that what he witnessed tonight in that main event reminded him of himself 20 years ago. He told Roman that the performance he just put on was the performance of a man who had truly earned his place at the top of this industry. And here's where it gets really emotional, folks. Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, the man who has rarely shown vulnerability in his entire career, told Roman Reigns that he respects him, not just as a competitor, not just as a rival, but as the absolute best in the business today. The crowd didn't know whether to cheer or cry. Roman's expression was this incredible mixture of shock, emotion, and relief. You have to understand, for a man like Roman Reigns, who has faced unprecedented criticism, who has been booed despite being positioned as the top star, who has carried the company through pandemic-era shows and beyond, to receive this acknowledgement from someone like Brock Lesnar, someone whose respect is earned and never given freely, that meant everything. Brock continued, and according to multiple reports, he told Roman that their war was over. That he didn't need to prove anything else against Roman Reigns because Roman had already proven he belonged in the conversation with the all-time greats. With Stone Cold, with The Rock, with John Cena, with Brock himself. And then, in a moment that will be replayed for decades, Roman Reigns shook Brock Lesnar's hand. These two warriors, who have brutalized each other for years, shared this moment of mutual respect that transcended their rivalry. The handshake turned into an embrace, and the arena absolutely exploded. So, what does this mean for the future of professional wrestling? Let's break this down because the implications are massive. First, this could signal the end of the Lesnar-Reigns rivalry as we know it. After years of these two being presented as enemies who could never coexist, we might be entering an era where they acknowledge each other as equals. Could we see them as allies? Could we see them team up against a common threat? The possibilities are absolutely endless. Second, this is a passing of the torch moment. Whether Brock is stepping back, whether he's transitioning to a part-time schedule, or whether he's looking toward retirement down the line, this feels like Brock Lesnar officially acknowledging that Roman Reigns is the guy. This is Brock giving Roman his blessing to carry the industry forward. Third, think about what this does for Roman's character. For years, Roman has been portrayed as the tribal chief, the head of the table, demanding acknowledgement from everyone. But to receive it from Brock Lesnar, spontaneously, genuinely, in front of the entire world, that's a character-defining moment. That's validation that no scripted promo could ever truly capture. And fourth, this opens up so many storytelling possibilities. How do the other top stars react to this? How do Roman's rivals feel about Brock essentially anointing him as the best? Does this create new alliances or new enemies? Does someone step up to challenge both of them? From a fan perspective, this is the kind of moment that reminds us why we love professional wrestling. Yes, it's predetermined. Yes, it's storytelling. But when it's done right, when it feels real, when it gives you legitimate chills and makes you feel something deep, that's the magic that keeps us coming back. Now, as you can imagine, social media absolutely blew up after this moment. Wrestling Twitter was in complete chaos. Fans were divided between shock, joy, and speculation about what comes next. Some fans are calling this one of the greatest unscripted moments in recent wrestling history, even though in professional wrestling, we know there's always a plan. The emotion felt incredibly genuine. Others are already fantasy booking dream matches and scenarios that could come from this new dynamic between Brock and Roman. Wrestling journalists and podcasters have been working overtime trying to get information about whether this was planned, whether this signals a new direction for both superstars, and what we can expect in the road to WrestleMania. What's beautiful is that this moment has united fans who haven't agreed on Roman Reigns in years. People who have been Roman supporters from day one are vindicated. People who have been critics are finding themselves moved by the authenticity of the moment. That's powerful storytelling, folks. The hashtags are trending worldwide. The clips are being shared millions of times. And everyone, from casual fans to hardcore wrestling historians, is talking about what they just witnessed. So, there you have it, Suplex Rumble family. Royal Rumble 2026 will be remembered for the matches, for the surprises, for the incredible action. But it will be defined by what happened after the main event, when Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns gave us a moment that transcended their rivalry and reminded us why professional wrestling, at its best, is absolutely unmatched in sports entertainment. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of this moment? Are you excited about what this means for the future? Do you want to see Brock and Roman team up, or do you think this is setting up an even bigger confrontation down the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.